Several years ago, someone asked me if I would participate in the Marine Corps Mud Run. It's something that they hold in Colombia, and basically where you go through obstacles and a lot of mud, and you complete the course. And you go through in teams, a team of 4, and so 4 of us got together and we decided to go through the mud run. Well, I did not do any research on the mud run. I didn't know what the obstacles were. I just felt like, when we get to them, we would just deal with them. And so the very first obstacle that we come to is it's a small body of water, real muddy water, and they had telephone poles laying horizontally on the very top of the water. And there were 4 telephone poles, one right after the other, with about probably maybe 4 or 5 feet in between them. And so we run up to this obstacle, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And so I asked the Marine that's standing there. He said, you have to go under the telephone poles and then run out the other side. In other words, I had to get on my belly, put my face into the muddy water, and push my body underneath the first telephone pole, come up for air, go back under the second and third and fourth telephone poles in order to move on to the next obstacle. And so when he told me what I had to do, basically my response was, do what? But we did it. My name is Richard Coleman, and I'm the pastor at Shepherd Church of the Nazarene in Lexington, South Carolina, and it's great to spend just a few moments with you today. Been looking at the Gospel of Luke, and we come to a place in the Gospel of Luke where Jesus has just sent his disciples out on a solo mission. He had given them instructions, go out and I want you to teach and preach and heal, and he gave them the authority to do all of that. Well, now they've come back, and I think they're excited and they want to tell Jesus all about their exploits. And so Jesus takes them to a solitary place, and I believe the concept there was so that they could tell Jesus all about the things that had happened to them while they were on this expedition. But when they get to the solitary place, the crowd sees them and comes to them and follows them to this solitary place. And the scriptures tells us that there were 5,000 men there, not including women and children. And so it was a huge crowd. And so Jesus took this moment and he taught the crowd. He talked to them and he told them things that they needed to know. Well, it started getting mealtime. And so one of the disciples came to Jesus and said, hey, it's starting to get mealtime. We need to send these people away because we don't have anything to feed them. And Jesus just looked at them and he said, why don't you feed them? And I think it was one of those moments where they kind of looked at Jesus and said, do what? And so Jesus just told them, he said, let's see what we have available. And what they had 5 little loaves and 2 little fish that someone had brought for their personal lunch. And the Bible tells us that Jesus took the bread and the loaves and that he broke them and he gave thanks. I want to stop there in the story because it really made me think about the fact that there were thousands of people that Jesus was going to feed. And all he had was just this little bit. I mean, not enough. There's just no way that, humanly speaking, that this would feed this group. But Jesus gave thanks. And so it makes me think about my life, and sometimes when maybe I'll complain about something because I don't feel like I have enough of this or enough of that, or maybe I feel like sometimes that I'm shortchanged on gifts that I could have had whenever I look at other people and see how talented they are. And whenever I start thinking about what Jesus did, Jesus took the little bit that he had and he gave thanks. shouldn't we be more thankful for the things that God has given us? I think about the gifts that God has given each and every one of us, and He has given us all gifts. And what He wants us to do is take what we have been given, to be thankful for it, and use it to the very best of our ability for His kingdom. And I believe if we do that, I believe that God's blessings will just overflow, and we'll have more than we can even imagine. And the key is to give thanks. The Apostle Paul said that whenever we pray, we should pray with thanksgiving. In other words, whenever we pray, just go ahead and accept the fact that God has answered our prayer. Just go ahead and thank God how He has answered our prayer, even though it hasn't happened yet. So that's my challenge for you this week, is to be able to be thankful for everything that comes your way. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you. May you truly give thanks to God throughout this week. Thanks for taking the time and viewing today.